Alrighty, people, what is happening? Appreciate y'all for being here. We've got a incredible stream ready for you, hot and heavy, and we're gonna get to it. Dynasty, Superflex, Startup, Draft. All right, I'm very excited for you guys to join us today. Obviously, anytime we can jump into a mock draft together, it's an exciting time to be alive. So we appreciate y'all for being here with us, and do us a favor, hit that like button as today's stream begins. We have a like goal today of 100 likes. With your help, I think we can get there. We'll have to wait and see.
I'm believing.
What's up, Henry? Welcome in, my friend. What's up, WG? Says RJ Harvey stands in shambles. J.K. Dobbins season. I thought that was quite a funny report. Yeah. Anytime a team, anytime the entirety of the NFL decides, we're not that interested in this guy, we'll just wait until the NFL draft happens, and then they draft the guy in the second round. That is the smallest thing, and people are going to freak out about it, right? Inevitably.
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. Well, J.K. Dobbins, so talented, blah, blah, blah. Anyways,
yeah.
Classic.
What's up, Mark? Welcome in. What's up, Dylan? We see happens in the building. TD's here. Kate is here. We've got Zeno, Rowan. What's up, Scribbles? Savvy is here. What's up, Butterball in the building? Jacob O, Trinan, Sean. What's up, guys? Welcome in. Welcome in. Appreciate y'all for being here with us. Now, we are going to jump into a Superflex rookie mock draft. Not rookie mock draft. A Superflex startup mock draft is what I meant to say. So we're going to jump into a startup mock draft. We're also going to do some team playbooks here today after that. But we do have some incredibly massive news. There's a vast majority of you guys who have been waiting on this announcement. All right? I want you to think about what it could possibly be. There has been something that Badaki and I have been obsessed with. And you guys from a certain state have not been able to play with us yet. Okay, so no surprises here. We're talking about FastDraft, okay? Big announcement today was that FastDraft officially live in the state of Pennsylvania. All right. So if you live in Pennsylvania, we said, be patient. It's coming. I promise you it's coming. Pennsylvania. That's what she said. Pennsylvania, you are on the clock. If you're in a different state, don't worry. We're working hard for all these states, but welcome aboard Pennsylvania. Maybe we'll jump into a fast draft here today. But yeah, definitely a great time for you guys to download the app and to play with us if you have never had a chance to. And, you know, not a lot of people have the opportunity to play on different platforms in Pennsylvania anyway. So definitely a good chance to get into some best ball type of formats. If you have never played FastDraft, now you're in Pennsylvania or any other state, download the app, use the promo code LAND. We'll match your deposit up to $50. That is 10 free drafts on us. And when you finish your first contest, you're going to get my rookie report and my season rankings completely free. And if you're a member on the Flock site and you sign up, DM me. I'll send you a free trade question voucher on the Flock site. So if you're with us on FastDraft, we are going to jump into a draft. I promise you. Download the app, be ready, and I'll tell you exactly when we're going to jump in. But the first thing we're going to do here is a Superflex Startup Dynasty mock draft, okay? How can people join the mock draft, Badaki?
Yeah, guys, join our Discord. That link is in the description. I already put that link in the chat. If not, you can just put !Discord. I'll do it again, and then you'll be getting that link to join our Discord. We're going to be sending that link in the mock draft tab. All of our mock drafts, whether we do a rookie mock draft in the future, redraft league, redraft mock draft, or dynasty startup mock draft like we're doing today. A bunch of babies crying in the background. But all you have to do is click on that mock draft link, and Zach will most likely send that out your way. It is first come, first serve. Keep in mind, we are doing the mock draft on the Flock Fantasy website.
Yep.
Okay.
Free to join. If you don't have a free account yet, use the promo code LAND at sign up, and you'll get some cool little things. But you can join for free by making an account here. Most of you would have an account by now, but I'm gonna go ahead and send this link out. Oh, that's the fast draft link. Sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and send this link out for you guys to join us here. Okay, you ready for that? Y'all ready for this?
Yeah, do it.
So you said bunch of babies crying. What do you mean babies? What do you mean by babies?
Oh, babies. No, because Ellen Timer's mother's group here today. So,
oh, okay. I was like, what? You got some announcement you need to tell us?
I mean, trying to get baby number 2 one of these days. You never know.
I was like, what do you mean by plural?
I'll see you there, man. We're just waiting for you. Waiting for Baby Savage to come through. Just can't wait to have that in the group here. You know, it's just a little Zachy running around. Might
be waiting a little while, bro. Can't even take care of myself at this point.
No, you can.
I'm trying my absolute best here. We have 2 spots remaining. Let me just tell our people. 2 spots left. Actually, every time I do that, it fills up before I even send the message out. I should stop doing that. All right. Anyway, guys, this is a super flex. All right. Start 3 wide receivers, 3 flex. It's type of format. We'll make it a tight end premium. There is a 3rd round reversal. So let's go ahead and enter this draft room. And as that counts down, again, we appreciate y'all for being here. What's up, Rowan? What's up, Frosty here? What's up, TC? Trinan, you can always check our Discord. People are talking about joining leagues there all the time and filling orphans there all the time. So you can definitely join our Discord and hang out with some people there who are jumping into drafts as well. TD, you're from Pennsylvania, right, TD? So you can officially sign up. Did you have any problems signing up today?
I had a feeling that TD was already in the couple drafts. I don't know how he did that.
You don't maybe he was traveling, because I do remember drafting with him, right? But I thought he was from Philly, no?
Maybe he was traveling. I think he definitely is from Philly. I remember that conversation saying he was from PA, but
yeah,
could be wrong.
Anyway, appreciate y'all for being here with us. Do us a favor, hit that like button to show some love. All right, first 3 picks. We have Daniels, Allen, and Lamar Jackson. And I know the entirety of your Dynasty teams, you feel like they're shattering based off of every single report that comes out of OTAs and rookie minicamp. All these reports that are coming out. Oh, this player looks slow. This player looks fantastic.
It's just
calm down. All right. You know, it was hilarious because yesterday I saw a tweet from someone that wasn't in the room. How do I say it? So it was someone who's just an NFL. They covered the NFL, and they were basically saying reports are that the Vikings are worried about JJ McCarthy, and it was hilarious because someone had a screenshot below that, and it was a beat reporter from Minnesota, and they were saying, actually, all reports are that the Vikings are in love with JJ McCarthy. They're so excited with the progress that he's made. They couldn't be happier. So that is just the nature of the Dynasty offseason. You got people who are in best ball leagues victory lapping Travis Etienne at this point because his coach said something positive about him. As if you didn't see those other clips of him saying positive things about most of the running back room, or what he said last year about Rachaad White, these type of things. Just across the board, everyone is freaking out about every single report that comes out. Oh no, it's time to panic on RJ Harvey because J.K. Dobbins might sign. The guy that's been publicly available to the NFL all offseason, he might sign. It's like, can we calm down for a second here? My goodness.
Yeah, look, you got to take a lot of these reports with a grain of salt. You're on the clock here, so I'm not taking or reading into any reports until we see OTAs. Until training camp starts, right?
Yeah.
Because right now, a lot of these teams, a lot of these players are really just trying to make it and show you're on the clock. So and I'll finish my thought here.
I'm gonna just grab Gibbs here.
Okay. Yeah, because
I can't select my rankings. Can you?
No, I can't. It says sort by, and I couldn't do it. And it's not 3rd round reversal, by the way, but I don't think you can change it.
Oh,
unfortunately.
My bad then. I thought that's 3rd round reversal.
That's totally okay. But yeah, you just gotta take it with a grain of salt because some of these players are really trying to. A lot of these guys that you're seeing in practice right now, oh my gosh, I can't believe this 5th round wide receiver is getting so much work. He looks so good. I was like, yeah, probably because he's not going to get work during real training camp. He's going to be on the 2nd or 3rd team. So he's working with the 1st team right now, trying to get some of these reps because the wide receiver 1 or 2 on that team is not really working out.
Yeah,
right now
not even
because
present. at that
Yeah,
moment.
or exactly, or they're not there. So like, wow, Jahan Dotson looks so good at practice today.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, isn't he like the 4th wide receiver on the
Jahan
team?
Dotson's hands coming out of college were the most impressive thing about his game, and that was on full display today at camp. It's like, can we calm down for a second? There was also another report. Oh no, there might be some disconnect between Brandon Ayuk and this staff in San Francisco. Literally an hour later, a report comes out, the wide receiver coach giving him praise that he's been a leader in the locker room. He's been a leader in meetings. He's been a coach himself. It's like, can you guys just take a breath for a second? Like, come off it for a second. I'm going to grab Brian Thomas there. Gibbs and Brian Thomas, my first 2 picks. But that's the nature of the offseason, isn't it?
Yeah, it happens every year. So you just got to take it with a grain of salt, kind of take things with nothing, actually. Don't even take it with a grain of salt. Don't even read into it. I think it's cool to get hype and get some information and be like, all right, this guy's working out, or this guy's doing this, blah, blah, blah. But like, it doesn't really matter whatsoever.
Yeah.
So keep that in
mind.
A
lot of illegitimate sources reporting stuff. I mean, that's just the nature of Twitter. You guys know how I feel about Twitter. I know I'm on there, but I've said this since we had 100 subscribers, and I'll say it again now. I think it is like the worst source for Dynasty knowledge that exists. I think Reddit is better, honestly, because Twitter...
Reddit feels...
It like, gosh. There are ulterior motives to every time someone tweets something, in my opinion, if they're building their profile around a Twitter. And that's not everyone. Like, there's a lot of great people out there that I can think of them off the top of my head, but I shouldn't say everyone, but there's a vast majority of people who are tweeting things with a certain motive in mind. You know, you can't really convince me that like, it's just so obvious. People are just trying to build a platform and get impressions and get followers based off of like bullshit reports. I mean, we talked about NFL Rookie Watch. That's the worst. That's the best example of what I'm trying to say. NFL Rookie Watch is the worst account on Twitter for Dynasty. It's not even close. By far the worst account, but they have 175,000 followers. Do you want to know how they have 175,000 followers? Because they report bullshit every single day and put little videos on top of it. And they quote bullshit that no one can even verify. It's just made up stuff to get impressions, to gain followers, and to take advantage of Dynasty players. Like, genuinely, NFL Rookie Watch, I'm not actively against anyone. There's no face to this, so I feel like I can. There's no face to NFL Rookie Watch. There's a lot of helpful Twitter things, like Coach Speak Index.
Part of the show.
Coach Speak Index is incredible, right? But just, there are so many just absolute bullshit accounts out there that are actually so harmful for the average Dynasty user. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, plot twist. Rookie Watch is Scribbles. Great supporter though, you know.
Yeah, imagine it's someone who supports us hardcore and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
What's up, Fantasy Football Garage? Welcome in, my friend. We always see you in
How you feeling,
FastDraft, man? Good to have you here. What's up, Henry? Appreciate you for being here with us. Joshua says JK has a Tinder as well. That's true. Rowan from the Queens League drafting in his 11th spot, testing the waters. You guys have a third round reversal in your leagues?
Yeah, we do. We have third round reversals, and some of them are
in
0.5 premiums. We have one that's like 0.75 premium, so that one's pretty big. But yeah, some of those leagues. By the way, our leagues, the first Manhattan League kicking off next week. We have Manhattan, and then if I'm not mistaken, I think the Bronx League. So Manhattan, Bronx, and then we do Queens, and then the big Brooklyn League. So 2 real live Dynasty startup drafts happening Monday night and Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, going next week. So you're going to be seeing some real shit happening. Some
family friendly, man. Family friendly.
Hey,
Jeez,
family friendly. So come in, hang out with me, hang out with the crew. Is going to be good there.
Yeah. Anyway, we appreciate y'all big time. Someone asked if there is a queue for team reviews tonight. Right now, there are 2 live reviews in the queue, and we have space for at least 4, if not more. So at least 2 more spots if you want to get a same day review. A lot of these are offline, which Badaki I'm sure we'll get to today. But
yeah, so the first 3 already are done. I just need to make the playbooks.
Cool.
I sent the message out to them already, so I did those last night. Just didn't make the playbooks there for those guys. Okay, I'm on the clock here.
Yeah, Jimmy Horn is the best wide receiver in camp. That's hilarious. He actually looks like a really solid taxi, though. What's up, Jeb? I appreciate you big time, man. Very kind of you. What's up, Joe? Welcome in. TD, no reason to feel sorry, guys. I thought I put third round reversal. I didn't. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm trying my best here. All right, I'm trying my absolute best.
Roast the guy.
What's up, Big Blue S? Says or Big Blue C. Duh. Come on, Zach. You're drafting in Superflex or quarterback in Superflex, so you can play 2 quarterbacks. I guess it's a statement.
This is.
What's up, Styles? Welcome in, brother.
Yeah, maybe. I have no idea.
What's up, Albert? Welcome in. Appreciate y'all for being here. What's up, Packet 12? I saw your submission just then as well. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, which is awesome. So keep that. We'll get that going there.
I think he's trying to tell me that I should have drafted quarterbacks on the edge. Is basically what he's saying.
This is quarterback with super. This is QB with superflex, and you're going to get.
He's
Russell
basically
Wilson,
trying
Daniel
to
Jones.
explain to me that it's a superflex format.
Sure,
I appreciate that, man.
Sure.
Thanks for the heads up.
This is why we mock, man.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think that theory was holding true when you looked at trends of superflex drafts like 2 years ago. But this year,
1,000%.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, you had to get 2 quarterbacks in the first 3 rounds. Just doesn't feel anywhere near close to the same reality of startup drafts this year. No, the ones that we've been.
No, not at all. I mean, you really have to think about the quarterbacks that are off the board right now. Drake May, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix. Those are 3 quarterbacks already that weren't there 2 years ago.
Well, the quarterback position, you're making a great point. I'm kind of interrupting. Sorry. Is at an all-time high as far as the amount of options there ever has been.
Dude, it was... You were excited to get Trevor Lawrence at, like, the end of the second at that time when he came into the league because...
Our first year, Trevor Lawrence was like the 108.
Dude, it was so hard to get a quarterback, and then it was Trevor Lawrence, and then you got Zach Wilson in the 4th, and then you were just like, okay, wow, I'm so excited about this, and it just all crashed and burned, and that's literally what happened to me in a lot of my leagues because
literally.
Imagine having the 12 spot and being able to start Bijan Robinson and Brock Bowers.
Yeah, I don't have a strong impression on really any of the quarterbacks on the board, to be honest with you guys. So. I'm just gonna skip the position again, and we're gonna be choosing between a wide receiver and a running back here, and we'll go. I'm so close between Higgins and someone else. I'm just indifferent about the quarterbacks on the board right now.
I'm different,
but it is a superflex league, in case you didn't know.
It is superflex.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'll grab T. I feel like T is one of the last. He's one of those last names in this tier for me. This tier of Higgins, Hunter, Wilson, AJ Brown, McMillan, Rice, Marvin, JSN. He feels like the last name there for me, so I'll grab him.
No, that's good. I was gonna go for T.
Appreciate you for being a part of the community here on YouTube. Then.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I need to get back to your trade as well. I know you sent me a message about a trade in one of those bro leagues, so I'll have a look at here today.
I will say Justin Herbert at the 305 was pretty impressive. For beast mode here to naturally get Justin Herbert that late, that felt like a mistake from the rest of the league for sure.
Nah, man, I already had my quarterbacks locked up. Could have gone 3 quarterbacks though.
What's up, 50 Cal? Welcome in. As we have Stroud and A-Chan off the board at the edge there. And Rowan's got one more pick. Take a quarterback, Rowan. Make my life easier. Yeah, man. I love that lad stack that Beast Mode got there at the 105. Okay, so he goes running back. Y'all are making my life way harder here. No one took it. Did no one take a quarterback? Stroud went. Yeah, I mean, I'm just so indifferent on all of these names, truthfully. I'll take Big Cock Brock, I guess.
Pretty big, they say.
Yep.
All right, so Brock Purdy comes off Bucky Irving. I thought that's where you were gonna go, maybe Bucky or.
Thought about it, but I do think you should probably have one quarterback at least through 4 rounds in a Superflex league. You don't want to leave it too late to the point where you keep pushing it back and then you're like, oh, I'll get a next round. I'll get a next round. And then you end up, that is when, truthfully, you end up with what Blue Sea was talking about, where you end up with like Daniel Jones and Russell Wilson or something. But yeah, it is a game of inches. Every inch counts, lads. What's up, Jeb? Jeb says, y'all my go-to content creators. I appreciate that, man. Very kind.
I appreciate your love, man.
Trennan, I love Elijah Arroyo. I was a big fan of him coming out of college. He was my tight end 3 for the vast majority of the preseason, pre-draft, I should say. And to me, I think there's a little Zach Ertz to his game, a little David Njoku to his game. I'm not going to claim that that's like a realistic median outcome, but that's more like the ceiling with him. I actually think he's a perfect fit in Seattle because I could really see with his skill set, him getting a shot to play outside, out wide. You know, JSN is obviously dominant in the slot. Cooper Kupp, at this point, I really don't see him being a dominant outside threat. So I really wholeheartedly believe that he could get some work outside. He feels like there's a real pathway depending on what Cooper Kupp is. Remember, Cooper Kupp hasn't been healthy for a long time, guys. He has not had a healthy season in a hot minute. And if he continues that, why couldn't Elijah Arroyo be a relevant receiver? A flexible guy you put inside outside for mismatches earlier than anticipated. So I've been drafting him everywhere. I've been a big fan of him.
I'll tell you why. 2 words. Sam Darnold. That's what it is.
You guys are going to have to get in love with Sam Darnold because the coach is not moving on from Sam Darnold from what it sounds like.
Not until about like week 12 when they're.
I just don't see the Seattle team not being competitive. I don't see them being like a top 3 pick where they can make that move. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Happen says it feels like with as many solid quarterback options as there are, people are desperate for an edge at wide receiver. I can definitely see that. And also, you're also seeing a real transformation in startup drafts because of the youth at running back now and because of the change of guard in the NFL in recent years. The 0 RB drafters were in shambles last year. Let's be honest. Running backs ran the league. Who runs the world? It was workhouse running backs last year. Workhorse running backs, rather. And I think you're starting to see people more and more comfortable drafting them earlier, especially in redraft leagues, but that has definitely taken over in Dynasty as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think I agree. John says Drake May. He went at the 2.9 there, brother. I took him.
209.
It definitely makes me feel like I should have taken one of like the AJ Brown's, Ted or Hunter at the 304 instead of a tight end. And once again, I'm not really big on taking a tight end early.
I thought you got a great value in it.
I mean, we
said this is tight end premium.
Yeah, the value.
I thought that
there.
was
I'm
great
not saying,
value.
I think the value's there. I'm not in love with my wide receiver room now.
Yeah.
So like now I can get wide receivers here on the low, but I'm not gonna have like an elite wide receiver one where I could have not an elite, but someone that you feel confident in starting week to week, like a London, a Monra,
sure,
Wilson, T, right? But
I mean, you got to make some sacrifice when you make a move like that.
Exactly. That's the sacrifice of you getting either a top 2 tight end or not having a number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Once again, this is why we mock.
This is why we mock. Guys, if you are loving our content over here on the Dynasty channel, obviously shout out to Jeb. I appreciate you big time. But, he came on here and said that he says we are his go-to content creators. That's a big honor for us. Some of you might not know that we have 2 YouTube channels. You're watching Dynastyland Football, but we actually have a Fantasyland Football channel as well, which is more focused on like your best ball, your in-season redraft type of formats, your home league type of stuff. And if you want to watch our latest video that we just released over there, I will go ahead and paste that in the chat. Would love for you guys to come subscribe and join us over there. In July, we'll be pumping off live streams there and getting prepared for your redraft leagues. And if you love talking shop and talking ball and, you know, being a part of our community, then definitely go subscribe over there as well, as I just spammed that in the chat.
Yeah, and just to keep up, like, just to add that as well, like, to what Zach is saying, obviously we're going to be transitioning to redraft soon, and if you guys want to continue to keep up with us, even though you may not love redraft but still want to talk bull, definitely go over there, because once again, we're going to start, I'll probably say by the end of this month, you're going to start seeing one less live stream on this channel, and then the second to
and
third week of July.
Go away. This channel won't be dormant or anything, but
no, exactly. It's just going to start to transition to the redraft channel as the in-season stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
So keep that in mind there, guys.
But we appreciate y'all big time, and we appreciate you for being here with us. Do us a favor, hit that like button to show some love on today's stream. And through 4 rounds, we've got quite a few running backs coming off the board here. In fact, we have 1, 2, 3. Well, that makes 14. We don't have a count. This is a great thing about the flock mock drafts, is you see exactly which running back is off the board at each position. So 14 running backs off the board and 14 quarterbacks. How about that? How about a changing of the guard here in a super flex startup? 14 quarterbacks off the board, 14 running backs. That is wild. That's actually very shocking to see, but I like it. I will say that is early for CMC compared to what we've seen recently. I'll say that.
No, that's what I was thinking here. No,
even Jacobs. I feel like Jacobs and CMC. I'm not saying they're the wrong picks, by the way. I'm just saying based off what market says, it was earlier than I might have anticipated. But yeah. Cade says the shift in Dynasty landscape these days, it's happening a lot in real money startups as well. I agree. You know, Boom here says, why is everyone fading quarterbacks so much? Never done a mock with real people before.
Well,
you got to keep in mind that, you know, mock draft tools, they're helpful because of ADP, but anyone who's in a real draft knows that it never goes like a mock draft.
No,
but
exactly.
It's helpful to play out different scenarios of how does the board fall, and that might, you know. So for example, if I was at the 310 and there were already 15 quarterbacks off the board, I might have had to make a more difficult decision. I might not have been able to take T. Higgins there. You know what I mean? So definitely the way you draft is impacted by the group you're a part of.
Yeah, and look, obviously you're going to be seeing that here in the next couple of days or early next week with our real money leagues. These are real money, real people.
When is your first one? Sorry to interrupt.
Monday night. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So once again, turn your notifications. You're going to see that next week with our first league is going to be the Manhattan League. It's a 12-man, third round reversal, 0.5 tight end premium. That's going to be in 4 days from now. So we're going to get a little bit more understanding of how things are going to work out.
I really wanted JJ. I'm not going to lie to you. I just was watching him and I thought.
That's what happens. Should have took JJ. Shouldn't have taken T. And the quarterback's going. There goes a dip.
Still happy with Michael Penix there.
There goes the run of quarterbacks
to me,
there. So
there is still a quarterback that is in a tier that I like. So,
yeah. That's kind of the risk you take here. And obviously the board probably would have looked different if it was a third round reversal. You know, maybe some of these guys would have taken quarterbacks. Yeah. I mean, I would imagine Justin Herbert going to maybe one of you if he fell to the 305 and Justin Herbert was available. I think you would have easily probably taken him there.
Oh, yeah. If he was available at the 310, it would have been a no-brainer. Okay, it says J.J. McCarthy wasn't getting past him. You are on the right track there, man. I love me some J.J. McCarthy. You and me both. Would you take Woody Marks over Jonathan Brooks? I probably would, Preston, just because I know for sure I'm getting no return out of Brooks for at least another 365 days from now. You will get zero return. I would rather just see what Woody Marks could give me in a return. Jared Goff was the last name there, and I thought Rowan's start here is very, very nice. I love that start that he's made. That's kind of where the quarterbacks fall off for me, right after Jared Goff. I thought he was the last name in a tier that I really liked. Tight end is probably the best available player, but I just don't really want to draft a tight end. So I'm not going to. The ADP is really screwing with my brain right now.
Yeah, it's not ideal because it doesn't sync up with the rankings, unfortunately. But
I think I'm probably taking this guy a little bit too early, but in my rankings, it wouldn't be too early. Brandon Ayuk, I'll take him at the 603 there. I know a lot of people are going to say that's too early, but be on the lookout for a video that's going to come out next week for you guys. I think he's a very great buy low. Very undervalued as well in the community right now, so I'll take him there.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one, man. I like that one. The one that they have, Ragu, Chase Brown.
Yeah.
Look, you kind of hoping that he was going to fall to me.
Probably should have gone running back there, but you live and you learn.
Yeah.
It's so hard when you don't have your own rankings. I miss my own rankings.
Get you. Gotta see. There's a couple guys I want to see. 1, 2 people that I'm believing for to come back to me. Sam Laporta. Thoughts on Mahomes, Walker for Purdy, Achane. I'm okay with that. If you're getting the Purdy Achane side, I'm okay with Purdy Achane. Personally. I think the up tier at the running back position is pretty significant. Like Achane went at the 401 here. Where did Walker go? Or has he even been taken? Could be Cold Cinnamon, really. Hasn't even been taken yet. And obviously, Patrick Mahomes went at the 2.6 here. Brock Purdy went at the 403. So still liking those two guys. And obviously, Brock Purdy, still a young quarterback at that contract extension. I'm on the clock here. And, you know, I might risk it for the biscuit here.
I feel like every player that went off the board after I took Ayuk is more valuable than Ayuk. I definitely have regrets.
It's okay.
In the sense of more valuable in the eyes of the community, market value.
Yeah, sure. You know what? Let's go.
I'm so hyped for tomorrow, dude.
Let's go, Pickens. Be careful.
Lou Dort. Anybody see Lou Dort's tribute to Thunder fans?
No, what do you say? What do you do?
So he released something in a player Tribune. The Players Tribune. Let me read this to you guys. If you're not hyped for the NBA Finals tomorrow, any Thunder fans out there? Do I have any fellow comrades?
I'm a Thunder's fan for tomorrow or for the series.
I love that. That's great to hear. So he basically wrote a letter in the Player Tribune. He says, I guess you could say I have a soft spot for underdog cities in general. Those places that people maybe don't see as blockbuster, small towns, blue collar. You know what I mean? Those places where it feels like they've seen a tough moment or two. So the good times feel a little bit sweeter. Thunder fans, I know you've been through it all. All right? I know you've heard all you can hear about how young we are, about how much potential we have to do great things, about how our window for a title is wide open. And yeah, that might be true for what's ahead. But right now, this isn't about our age or about our window. This is about the opportunity that's right in front of us. This is about us being where our feet are, and our feet are right here in Oklahoma City, right here with you all, ready to do something special. It's the finals. You know what I mean? There's no potential about it. It's real now. So are we. God damn. Let's go. Talk it up, Lou. I would die for you, Lou. Can't wait to watch the game tomorrow. And then Lou chucks up a 3 and you hear the entire stadium go, Lou.
Is it OKC for tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, baby.
How's that work? How does
Well, it's all based off of seedings.
Oh, right. So they're the first seed, and obviously
we had the best record in the NBA. So basically, it comes down to your record. right? It comes down to seeds in the conference, and then when it comes down to the NBA Finals, it comes down to record pretty much.
Nah, Pacers, F the Pacers. Do you think, let's have a conversation. Do you think the Tyrese Halibut dude is being like, is he
Isn't halibut a type of fish?
I don't know. Halibut, sorry. Is he a superstar or not a superstar? Because that's what I've been seeing on Twitter. He's like, oh, he's not a superstar. He's overrated. People saying he's overrated. Okay. What do you think as a true deep dive NBA fan?
Well, do you remember the conversations I was having with our chat last year about SGA? Yeah. Because I think this word superstar is very subjective. That's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember last year, I was making the argument that SGA was one of the top 3 players in the NBA. And that, for some reason, didn't sit right with a lot of our chat. And then someone basically said, he's not even a superstar yet. And I said, hold on. You're going to tell me the guy who's about to finish second in MVP voting, a top 3 player in the league, you're going to tell me he's not a superstar? And they tried to define it by market value. Market value as in you can go somewhere in China, in London, you can go to Australia, New York, Oklahoma City, LA, Brazil, and they know your name and they rep your gear. That was their argument. My argument was, I'm talking from a realist NBA, hardcore, to your bones NBA fan. SGA has been a superstar, right? He's been a superstar. Sure. Now, with Tyrese Halliburton, I don't think, like, just being 100% transparent and honest, I definitely wouldn't have put, like, superstar label on him before the playoffs began. I just don't know that you could have reasonably put that label on him, again, before the playoffs began. But what he did in the playoffs is special. I think you would be completely ignorant to say he is not the biggest playoff riser there was this entire year. From the expectations of, whoa, he just took over the game in a way that a superstar does. So how are you defining the word superstar? Because if you're going to ask me to define it as like a marketable NBA name, then no, he's probably not a superstar. Has he been a superstar for this team? Is he the biggest reason why they're in the NBA Finals? Yeah, absolutely. If he keeps playing, because this is what happened. This is why we call this a playoff riser. You have certain players in the playoffs who show up at their biggest moment, and that kind of determines what the rest of their career looks like. You have playoff shrinkers. James Harden. James Harden will always be known, unless he gets over the hump, as someone who is an incredible regular season player, but never performed to his potential in the playoffs. Whether you think that's right or wrong, that's how people define him. So Halliburton is kind of the opposite of that. A player who has never had a regular season like a James Harden, but elevated in a way in the playoffs that we have never seen James Harden do. Ever. Right? So, do I think he's a superstar in the playoffs? Yeah, absolutely. You better put some damn respect on him.
Put some damn respect on him.
I mean, triple-double machine, barely turns the ball over. People don't realize how important ball security is. Now, he's about to face the Thunder, and we turn the ball over more than anyone else, so we'll see. But so far, his efficiency, his three-point shooting, his playmaking have all been at a superstar level. But is he a marketable superstar? No, I don't think that. He's a marketable superstar.
I don't think that. I think, like, I don't even know, like, I think game one, it wasn't, not that it wasn't him, because I am a surface. I only watch basketball during the playoffs, so I only know these players from what I've watched in the playoffs. And in reality, when I look at this team or that team, did he take over game one where they had to come back? It was technically him and the other dude, I forgot his name, that was shooting all those fucking threes all the time, pissed me off.
Right.
Neesmith. It was him and Neesmith just shooting threes back to back to back. Sure. But then game two, it was Siaka. 38, 40 points. Halliburton wasn't even there. Game three, he was non-existent. Game four, he didn't really do much. Game five, he didn't really do much.
Sure.
Well, not that. Let me rephrase. Not that he didn't do much, but like he didn't like take over. He didn't like. He was like, all right, let me put the ball in my hands and I'm gonna make a move. Yeah, like I don't feel like he is that type of player from what I've watched in the playoffs. I think he's a really good team player, a really good player that he can lead the team, but he is not, in my eyes, once again, from what I've watched in surface, Jalen Brunson, not saying he's a superstar, but like everything and the whole attitude of that team is like the ball needs to go through him. That wasn't with him, with Halliburton. It's the complete opposite. It's like whoever has the ball,
but
they're going to make the best shot possible. So
if
that's how I viewed it.
If the Pacers don't have Halliburton, they don't make it past the Cavs.
Right. So I didn't watch that series. So I didn't really I don't know.
And you can say the same thing about Siakam as well. Now, Jalen Brunson is a more marketable name for sure. And he's probably the more valuable player. Wow. DJ Moore this late is crazy.
Yeah.
So I think you can make it. But look, even in the chat right now, like you guys are seeing, everyone has a different definition of superstar. Like Mike, I would argue, Mike, and everyone's opinion is welcome here. I would argue Mike is actually advocating for the like greatest of all time, like top 10 player conversation here when he uses the word superstar, because he's saying you have to be like a Jordan, a Kobe, a LeBron, Bird, Magic. I wouldn't say that you have to be a top 10 player all time to be a superstar. I think any given year,
would Kevin Durant be a superstar?
100% Kevin Durant is a superstar.
Would Russell, the dude that was in OKC,
Russell Westbrook was a superstar in his prime. 100%. The man won an MVP.
Okay.
Played at a ridiculous type of pace and ferocity. But I would say superstar more feels like top 10 player in the league. That's how I would define it. Are you a top 10 player in the league at that time? And then you can say a star is like a top 25 to 30 player. Now, you'll remember last year. Do you remember I was debating with people about what Jalen Williams, J-Dub, what his ceiling was? And I made a statement that I thought he had a higher ceiling than Jaylen Brown did. And a lot of people hated that statement at the time. I got roasted for it. But Jalen Williams to me is a star. He's not a superstar. Jalen Williams to me is a true star, a rising star, not even rising anymore, but he is a star. He's already risen. All right.
Yeah.
But a superstar, I think that's like a top 10 player. Now, Halliburton was not a top 10 player during the regular season. But I don't think that there are 10 players you would rather have that were in these playoffs over a Halliburton. He would fit in that top 10 somehow. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I just think it is like used loosely, like Mike said. I think in the definition is so fluid as well, because I wouldn't consider Halliburton a superstar. Now, with the context that you brought and like your argument, I think that is fair. He's a superstar in this moment. He's a superstar right now. Is he going to be a superstar? And does that legacy continue later on in the rest of his career? Because
what do you value most? What do you value most when you talk about superstars? I would argue when people talk about all-time greats, when they talk about legacy for an NBA player, they don't talk about regular season. They don't say, well, you know, this guy was really good in the playoffs, but his regular season was actually a little bit worse. He was a little bit average. Now, when you're talking about legacies, you're talking about what you did in the biggest moments for your franchise. You're talking about things that, that game that Halliburton had, what was it, where he went, was like 32, 15, and 12? I think there's like 3 people in the entire NBA who have ever done that in the playoffs. He's risen to the moment. So, what do you value the most? Because no one's gonna take, like, if we pulled NBA players and we did a fantasy draft right now, Halliburton is not going top 10. He's just not. But if you were to pull people based off what's happened in the NBA playoffs, he'd sneak into 10. He'd have to, based off his play.
I think there's a lot of criteria when it comes down to that, though. Like, I think you have to be consistent with the gameplay that you have throughout your career after you hit that peak. Then you have to win games, like titles, like they say, and then you also have to have the ability. Which is why
I didn't say he's a superstar point blank period. I said he's a superstar in these playoffs.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with that. Like he is like somebody that has risen to the occasion right now. But like
And
if you're telling me he's going to continue to do that and change the game, that is superstar type of status. Like, obviously, we can always say like Kobe, LeBron, Steph when he was just shooting threes from like fucking half court. It was like this guy's crazy. He's changed the game, and then it made everyone want to shoot threes from so far and want to excel in that area. Like that's a superstar. That's someone that has made an impact on the game and globally. That's what I see in a superstar. Like if you want to bring it into football terms, I gotta make a pick here.
well, this is why like respectfully, and I'm not going at anyone. I'm not going at you, Badaki. I'm not going at Mike.
Yeah.
But like Mike is saying, KD is not a superstar. So in my mind, if there's like this spectrum for people, where there's a spectrum in a reality where KD isn't a superstar, then it's just pointless to have the conversation because I think my definition is would be so far off from someone else's. You know what I mean? So, and again, everyone's welcome to their opinion. I love Mike, love him being a part of the stream. But that just goes to show how pointless the conversation is really, because to me, KD is like no doubt in my mind, 100% he's a superstar. Not even close. A top 5 scorer all time. You know? But people just value different things when they want to use the superstar tag.
Yeah, and I think for us, like I guess kind of transitioning to like the football world, like we wouldn't consider someone like, I guess since football is different and there's so many teams and like there's superstars on their individual teams, but like we wouldn't consider someone like Bucky Irving a superstar. But like, but do we consider someone like a?
I honestly don't think you can make some sort of correlation between this conversation.
Yeah, I was trying to.
Can I tell you why though? Because the NBA, you're watching 10 players at a time, and that's the max. You can roster about 12 players total on your team, really. NFL is just, you got 55 players, you know? So it's just a completely different mindset entirely, right? Like what, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but what LeBron James means to the NBA and their ability to sell the NBA, in my opinion, is far superior than what you ever saw for Tom Brady in the NFL. Because there's just a different weight and level to being the face of the NBA, because there are only 5 guys who are starting on a team at once. And you're buying a ticket to watch one of those 5 guys. Right? It's just the NBA is way less of a team sport, and that's not to downplay Brady, but just trying to explain my rationale. But anyway, that's a great conversation. Thunder up, and yeah, this will be my last stream before I go on holiday. So Thunder up, and if you're watching Thunder tomorrow, send a prayer up for me. Drew, I appreciate the super chat here. He says, "What's the most you'd give up to move from the 506 to the 412 in a startup?" He says currently offer it is 805 to 907. So basically you would move up, but you would swap your 8th and 9th round picks. Well, if you're telling me that Ward, Lawrence, and Goff are available, are you confident that none of them are going to fall to the 506? Because if you think about that, are you not like 7 picks away? I might wait again, and then I might wait until like there's just 2 of them left on the board, and then negotiate a deal. But right now, it sounds like you have a little wiggle room, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, this is what's moved to give up from the 506 to the 412. So, like for example, like we can just use this as an example. 506. Obviously, this is you get Baker Mayfield, or the 412. That's only a couple picks, right? It's not that big of a difference there.
Yeah, so I mean, you're moving back, like you're moving up
2, 3, 4,
7
5,
spots
6,
to move down 13, which it's not an unreasonable ask from the person who's offering this to you. I just might try and play it out a little longer, personally.
Yeah, I agree.
See, WG, this is where I think, I don't want to jump into this conversation too much because we want to talk football, right? But I think this is where, in my opinion, WG, you're trying to place a superstar label on the GOAT label. I mean, of course, we all know who Ronaldo and Messi are. They aren't superstars. That's disrespectful to Ronaldo and Messi. Those are the GOATs. We're talking greatest of all time. We're talking Hall of Fame legendary players. I don't think you have to be one of the greatest players of all time to be a superstar, right? Like I would argue, like I argued last year, SGA is a no-brainer superstar in my opinion. But that is for people who watch basketball. Basketball people like me who love the sport. I can recognize from a marketability, he's obviously not going to have the same marketability as a LeBron James. But anyway, again, everyone has a different definition, and they're all valid because it's all subjective. But
yeah,
it's fun to have conversations, right? So,
I mean, I like conversation. Do you think one last thing? Do you think Jalen Brunson's a superstar? I wouldn't take it as a disrespect.
I do think he is he's like one of the last ones I would put in that list.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I mean the answer is yes for me.
Superstar, we're playing basketball. Hey, I'm keen. I'll make an effort for everyone here to follow the NBA a little bit more in season, even though I highly doubt I would.
Damn, I was just about to take Jaden Higgins and now he's gone. How did Jaden Higgins fall that far though?
People didn't take him.
Yeah, I mean the logic adds up. I gotta give that to you there. All right. Oh, what a weird spot to be in here, honestly. No one took a tight end after I drafted David Njoku. That makes me feel great. I really feel like quarterback's the most valuable position on the board right now. And I'm just going to draft Justin Fields as a quarterback 3 here. Okay. But anyway, look, like we said, everyone's got a different definition. And no one's definition is incorrect. Unless, of course, you're saying that Kevin Durant isn't a superstar, then I'll fight you. All right, I will physically fight you. I'm just kidding. Actually, I don't need to defend that traitor.
What's the definition of? What's the actual definition
absolute traitor? I don't need to defend his ass.
Superstar.
I hope KD is at home watching the Oklahoma City Thunder in the finals, and I hope he feels it deep in his chest, and I hope he hears the crowd, and he thinks, what the hell did I do? Why did I ever move away from this?
He made the right move, in my opinion.
Nope.
I still don't see the difference. As much as we can argue, I still don't see it.
Oh my gosh! If you guys don't know what Badaki's talking about there, this is an argument we've had forever. He does not see any difference between what was it?
I don't see the difference.
LeBron James and KD
how
did.
People.
I don't.
Yeah.
I cannot understand how you don't see the difference, but it's a pointless conversation. It's never going to change.
I just think they both wanted the same goal, and yeah, they did it differently. And one went to a super team, and one built a super team. It's the same exact thing.
No, it's not even close.
In my eyes,
you always leave out the fact that one did it. One joined the team that just beat him in the Western Conference Finals.
I just said it.
No, you keep leaving that part out though. When you have this conversation, you said one joins a super team. You have to talk about the fact that he literally just lost to this team and then he joined them.
But I understand that, but there's no guarantee that that team would have made it to the finals again.
This is why it's always so frustrating to have this conversation with you, Badaki, because they were literally the best regular season of all time the year before that. And Badaki, in that era of NBA, no one thought anyone was going to win the finals outside of the Warriors. No one. There is no fan in that era of basketball that said anybody had a chance to win outside the Warriors, and he joined that team.
Surely it was LeBron. Wasn't LeBron I don't know when was this. Was LeBron on the Heat at the time with his whole super team?
That's just not the same.
Or am I wrong there? I have no idea. It's a genuine question. I have no idea. Didn't he have his super team there at the time?
It's not about joining a super team. That's where we're not connecting together right now.
Look, I I think what I always argue is that I think the fans were really harsh on KD versus LeBron, in my opinion. I remember the whole LeBron thing.
Weakest move we've ever seen from an NBA player, ever.
I felt like it was a weak move for LeBron to go from the Cavs to Miami and say, you know what, we're going to build a super team where like they could have, once again, I don't know anything about basketball, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Surely they could have done that when he was with the Cavs.
Brother.
Did they try to do that?
Do you really think superstars want to move to Cleveland?
He's from Cleveland. He loves
It does
Cleveland.
not matter. Nobody wants to move their family to Cleveland, brother.
I mean, if you want to win a title, I don't think I can guarantee you put any sport player in front of us right now, they don't give a shit where they will be as long as they get their goal to win a title. NBA,
respectfully, this is why I think it's pointless to have this conversation, because if you know the NBA, you know the type of teams that LeBron James had in Cleveland for years, because nobody wanted to go to Cleveland. He was playing with his best player for years was Big Z, the center. I mean, I'm not going to say that because that's disrespectful to that other man. But surely, I can't relate because you just don't understand.
No, I just, if you told Zach, if I told you right now, you can play with the best player in the NBA, and that's LeBron James, but you had to move to Cleveland, and your chances of winning a title would be significantly higher because you yourself are a good player, you can make an impact. Wouldn't you do that?
But Aki, what I'm telling you is, it doesn't matter what my opinion is. Nobody ever in the NBA decided to do that. So the logic doesn't matter. No one in the NBA ever decided they wanted to win a title so much they were willing to move to Cleveland. It never happened. He was in Cleveland for a long time. Nobody wanted to join him.
So when he went to Cleveland the second time and he won, people then followed him because he officially won. Well, or am I wrong there?
I'm glad you're asking this question because you are wrong. They traded for Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving was already on the team.
Uh-huh. Right. Okay. Fair.
It wasn't because people were hyped about playing, but at that point they had three big names, and then you had role players fill in. Right? Like J.R. Smith was a role player there. So
yeah.
Anyway,
worst team to reach the finals ever. Anyways, look, once again, I don't know much about basketball, but that's just how I feel. I feel like I remember. The reason why I remember this because I was in Florida. They were burning jerseys. They hated them. They hated let me rephrase that. I remember because I was in Florida and he came to Miami and it was like the biggest thing ever for literally the state of Florida. Didn't even matter if I lived like an hour.
So what are you advocating for? Are you advocating that KD got more hate than LeBron? Because if is that what you're saying?
I felt like from the conversations that we had and my understanding of this whole thing and how KD is a dog or he's a snake and this and that, I felt like LeBron, in my eyes, did the exact same thing to the city that he loved and then went to go build a super team. But with the context that you're bringing, I think that's also fair. Like, no one wanted to move to Cleveland, which
I can tell you,
I think is kind of...
as someone who was watching the NBA religiously, LeBron James was destroyed across media. The reason you don't remember it as much is because I
was probably in Florida now, and people were celebrating that he came to Florida.
Social media wasn't as popular anyway at that point. Like, people weren't using Twitter the way they use it when Kevin
it was
Durant.
Televised.
It was televised, but I'm telling you, like, I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. There was no love for LeBron James moving to Miami outside of Miami fans. No one liked it. Everyone hated it. People called it a weak move. But it's not a weaker move than joining the team that just beat you in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, WG has a great example here. He says, imagine if Brunson joined the Pacers as a free agent next season and won the title.
Is the title as legit? I mean...
So he said, you know what? Actually, we're not better than the Pacers. I can go join them, though.
I don't see how... I guess maybe I just don't see how... Look,
you're honestly saying that...
I'm just saying. I mean, think about it. It literally just happened to me as a football fan. Saquon Barkley just went to the Eagles, won the Super Bowl. Am I cut by it? Am I crying? Am I fucking burning his jersey? No. But like, it was a smart move for him as an individual.
But my friend, what you're failing to realize there. Hold on 1 second though. That analogy holds no weight whatsoever. Do you want to know why? Because the Giants weren't anywhere near the freaking playoffs, let alone going to the Super Bowl, my friend.
Sure.
Like, the Giants didn't get knocked off in the NFC conference championship game by the Eagles, and then Saquon said, let me go join the Eagles now, my division rival. It's just not a good comparison at all, which is why WG just tried to offer you one that is as close to home as it could be for you.
I guess, like, look, once again, like, I like Brunson, but I don't really know him like that or like follow him. I think he's a really good player for the Knicks right now. So like, would I be cut? 100%. Would I be mad at the person? I don't think I would be upset because I think it's a smart move. I think anyone.
I just don't believe you would live that out. I really don't believe that if Jalen Brunson joined the Pacers, you'd be like, you know what? That's a smart move for him. Good on you, Jalen. I support you.
I felt like, but like, think about how did I respond when Saquon? I was like, dude, that's fucked up, but it's smart. He just went to literally one of the best teams in the NFL. Once again, I understand your analogy. I understand how like we weren't there, but like he went to our rival team. He went to a team just like KD. I'm assuming OKC and Golden State are rival teams. They hate each other, don't like each other, didn't want to do be. If there was a team that you probably expected KD to go to, you probably wasn't expecting to be at OKC. Just like me, I wasn't expecting Saquon to go to the Eagles, and then he wins a Super Bowl. It's like, fuck, dude. I guess maybe it's just my different reaction or how my mind works, but like, I understand that process.
Yeah. I think what you're saying is fair, but I don't think you would live it out. That's just my opinion. I really don't think that your opinion would be if Jalen Brunson went to the Pacers this offseason. You know what? That's good for him. Good move for him. But anyway, it's okay that we don't agree. I just can't ever understand that disconnect that we have with that situation. But I just want to quickly let people know that I am in a best ball tournament here on FastDraft. Would love for you guys to join me. We're in a Flex 4 tournament. State of Pennsylvania was just announced today. Would love to have you guys come draft with us. Download the FastDraft app. Use the promo code LAND. We'll match your deposit up to $50. That is 10 free drafts on us. And when you finish your first contest, I'll send you my rookie report and my season rankings completely free. Again, I would love to get into a lobby with you over here on FastDraft. Link is in the pinned comment if you want to play with us. But currently in a Flex 4 tournament, this is a great tournament to kind of get your mind a little bit more thinking about the actual NFL season, redraft leagues as well, like trying to go into like that transitional phase, I guess, if you will. But it's very simple. There's no positional limitations. You draft 6 players. The top 4 get entered into your lineup each and every week with this Flex 4, very similar to the Origins tournament if you played that before. And again, I would love to have you come join me, but there was a pretty big announcement today. If you weren't with us on the stream earlier, the announcement was that Pennsylvania is now unlocked. You are live and ready to go for the FastDraft app. Pennsylvania, you are on the clock. Again, use the promo code LAND at sign up. We'd love to draft with you guys. I know there are so many people from Pennsylvania that wanted to join us, and now is your chance to get in there like swimwear. I'm on the clock here in this startup draft. I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to cut you off. I just want to make sure we said that I'll grab Keon Coleman there as one of my last picks, but pretty happy with the draft that I've put together there, and just want to kind of swing my attention over towards these best ball tourneys here.
Yeah, no, let's get it in on FastDraft. I'll join one after if we can. Basketball is interesting.
Yeah, look, I mean, to wrap up my thoughts, I think what you're saying is fair. I just don't see you being able to live that opinion out logistically. And maybe that makes you a better person than me. Maybe that makes you a more rational person than me. I don't know. But I cannot separate my emotions from a team that I've invested so much time in. The Oklahoma City Thunder, for me, when they moved to Oklahoma City Thunder, I was living in Kansas City. I was already watching the Texas Longhorns. I liked them. I loved KD. Then he moves over to Oklahoma City. I grew with them. From middle school to high school, I grew with this team. I fell in love with basketball because of this team. Okay? And This team almost reaches the peak of basketball, and the player that I fell in love with, that I spent all of these years adoring, decides to turn on me, decides to completely turn on our franchise like that. I am not a good enough human being to be like, you know what? Good for you, Katie. Good for you. No, fuck that. That's weak. That's some weak bullshit. If I ever had a kid, I would say, don't you ever do some bullshit like this. Okay? If you're not good enough, go to the chalkboard, be a better leader, figure out what you need to do to get to the mountaintop. Don't give me some bullshit you're about to jump on a new train. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. I'm not a good enough person for this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really see them. I mean, obviously, I see sports players as more as individuals. As much as I love watching them, and as much as I love drafting them and wanting them to score fantasy points, just like they say all the time, it's a business. So you have to do what's best for you. Is it dog that he did that for against your team and he hurt all these fans? Yeah. But at the end of the day, as an individual for KD, he won a title. That not many people in the NBA can say that they won a title. So
and anyone who's a basketball fan outside of Golden State will tell you, we don't care. We don't care that he won a title because of how he got it. All right, I'm gonna take Jackson Smith-Njigba here at the 310, and then I'm gonna come back down there.
In that,
yeah, he was a huge impact, no doubt about it.
For that team, or was he just a bench, not a bench player?
No, he was a superstar. He was a superstar, no doubt about it. He was a big reason they won. But if you ask the modern NBA fan, and you polled 1,000 NBA fans, what you would do is you would say, whose rings are worth more? The one ring that Dirk Nowitzki has, the one ring that he has for Dallas.
Yeah.
Or the 2 rings that KD got in Golden State. 90+% of that poll would say the one that Dirk got was worth more because he was the leader of the team. He was the person that they built around for the franchise, and he won a ring for that. That means more to basketball fans.
Right. Sure.
And I think that's where the disconnect is, because you didn't really grow up loving basketball.
No,
basketball.
I love the game. I understand it, and I don't really know anything.
The team is a bigger part of your championship when it comes to the NFL. So the Saquon one, it just falls on deaf ears for me, just because I get where you're coming from, but it's so much more about the team in the NFL than it is about an individual player. KD moving in his prime changes the entire landscape of the NFL, or of the NBA. Saquon Barkley moving to the Eagles, it was huge, but it had nowhere near the same impact. When Saquon went to the Eagles, people didn't say, oh, well, we might as well pack it up here. There's no reason to have an NFL season. The Eagles are going to win it. My brother, when KD went to the Warriors, every NBA fan said, well, there's no point watching this entire season. In fact, how long is his contract? I probably won't watch until he's off the Warriors. Truthfully, that was the impact that it had. So, I rest my case, whether it's right or wrong.
Was Kobe in the league then? Kobe was still in the league.
Kobe.
No? I mean, he was out of his prime.
Yeah, I think he retired pretty close to that. I think he retired it was either 2015 or 2017. 2016 was his retirement.
And when did KD win those rings? 2018, 2019?
2016, 2017.
Oh, okay. So who do you had to go through? But he had to go through some people though.
Bro.
But to be fair, I get it. They were the superstar team. I understand.
Before they even knew what the matchups were in the playoffs, everybody was like, "It's over. It's over. We don't need to watch this, guys." But anyway, we would love to have you guys come draft with us over on the FastDraft app. We're in a Flex 4 tournament right now. Use the promo code LAND. We'll match your deposit up to $50 when you deposit. That's 10 free drafts on us. And you'll get my rookie reports and my season rankings when you sign up as a thank you. What I like to do at the end of these Flex 4 tournaments with my last 2 picks is really think about players that nobody's going to be drafting in these tournaments. I just want as many unique lineups as I possibly can get. So I'm typically going pretty far down the ADP to find a name. So for example, we'll scroll down here, like Aaron Jones comes to mind, the Travis Kelce's. I'll probably take a share of Travis Etienne here, even though I'm not the biggest fan of him. I got a lot of Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs. These are the type of names. Even Jordan Mason, I'm taking a shot on. I might go Jaden Reed here as my other option, but I want to go as far down the board as I possibly can. Javonte Williams, another great name here. Trey Benson, Michael Pittman. I want to find some sort of difference maker for this roster that I think has some upside. I took Darnell Mooney in a draft this morning. So I'm going to take Etienne and Jaden Reed there to end the draft. And my hope is that, I have enough influx of talent to take me to the playoffs. But then ultimately in the playoffs, I want to have a roster that's a little bit more unique than the other people who might just be drafting based off purely ADP. So that's my thought process there.
Yeah, you love to see it. You love to see it here.
I just want to say, Badaki, your opinions are valid because they're your opinions and it's subjective. I just am passionate about it because obviously it impacted me, and I'm trying to help give you the point of view of the average basketball fan and how some of it doesn't correlate to the NFL in a dogma mentality. I don't know. So anyway.
No, I definitely look. I understand being frustrated. I feel like the only way I can relate to that is literally what happened last year. And you guys know me, I'm a big Giants fan. There's only 2 jerseys that I have as a Giants fan. Eli Manning, and the second jersey I ever bought was Saquon Barkley. And then he goes to the Eagles, who I look, I don't hate the Eagles as much as I hate the Cowboys, but I hate the Eagles. And then he goes to the Eagles, who, by the way, was already a complete team, who, by the way, didn't make it to the Super Bowl the year before. But for me, literally the only missing piece that they needed, because their defense was already legit, their wide receivers were stacked, they had a quarterback, they literally have one of the best offensive lines. They just needed a running back, and that's exactly what they did. I just never had a Lawrence Taylor jersey, by the way, but I get what you guys are saying, and I understand it, and I'm not discrediting or not wanting to make the deep basketball fans not feel what they're feeling. I just feel like the hate for KD in my eyes was the same thing that I feel like, once again, is probably not correlated or related. It just feels like when LeBron made a super team, if I was a Cleveland fan and for his whole career, I want to be Cleveland. I want a championship for Cleveland. I want this for Cleveland. And then once again, I don't know basketball. Like Zach said, they didn't build a super team. Nobody wanted to live in Cleveland. All right, I'm going to just leave and then build my super team somewhere else. That's fucked. It's no, you staying here. You talk about all this shit for Cleveland. Stay here. You're the face of the NBA already at that age. My guy was 17, face of the NBA.
This is where, respectfully, you're showing that you didn't watch the NBA at that point.
No, I didn't.
I'm saying that respectfully because any NBA fan who's been watching that long would tell you LeBron did everything he possibly could. He took a YMCA squad to the NBA Finals. It was a failure on the franchise. It is Cleveland as a franchise. It's their failure. The teams that they put around him every single year, and he's making it to the NBA Finals. He's making it to the conference finals. In a much tougher East it was back then. And that is not the case for KD. KD played with 2 other MVPs. He played with 2 MVPs in his homegrown Oklahoma City. Okay? Obviously Harden left, but Ibaka was still there. They drafted Steven Adams. It's just not the same in my opinion, but there's no need to waste any time about it. But let's go on to some team playbooks, shall we? Again, I would love to have you guys come join us on FastDraft. Pennsylvania is now unlocked as a state, and you guys know we're gonna be every time we're streaming, we're gonna be looking at getting on a FastDraft tourney. So download the app with us. Use the promo code LAND. We'll match your deposit up to $50. That is 10 free drafts on us And when you finish your first contest, we'll send you our rookie report, our season rankings, completely free. And then if you are just getting in there from Pennsylvania or you're just starting to play on FastDraft, feel free to DM me. We'd love to have you join a group chat with us where we're kind of drafting together over there. Is there anything that I missed, Badaki?
No, that is it. Let's jump into some team reviews. I think we have one more spot for team reviews or two more spots for team reviews. Let me know. But I think the first one up we have here, I think we have three so far: McNugget, Dave-O, Dave, and then Packet up 12. So those are going to be the three guys we have today. And if you want to get your team review, obviously go ahead and submit here. But McNugget, you are up first. Let us know if you're here with us. We appreciate you. And let's have a look at your team here. This is a 1 quarterback, 12 team start 10, which is a rolling deep for the crew here. So I'll put that in the chat. Okay, let's have a look at this context as well. So he says, sold off most of my aging players last year. Full rebuild, have extra late, probably 27 first and second. There is talks to get the 104 for a late 26 first and a 25 401. Do I make that trade? With all the draft capital, do I stick and pick or try and move all these seconds?
It's start 8, by the way. He clarified. I think 2 of them are IDP.
Okay, so start 8 on quarterback. Oh wow, so that's really small.
Yeah.
That's meat and potatoes then.
Yep.
So let me just
small one.
Let me just put that. Okay, McNugget is here with us. I didn't realize it, which is awesome. Glad you are here with us, and please jump in at any point in time with any context that you have, just like you did already. Chipotle Batman is your team name.
Yeah, I mean the first question is basically, do you send away a late first and 2 late firsts and the 401 for the 104? Seems like a pretty big ask. I like the 104 for sure, but to send 2 late firsts and the 401's nothing but.
Yeah,
I don't know. What do you think? That feels like a big ask.
Okay. Okay. There's talks of getting the 104 for a late 26 and 27 first and a 25 401. So you're sending 2 firsts that are late for the 401. Let me ask you this: is your 26 first? Is that someone else's? Yeah.
Well, yeah. He's ranked 8th right now. And
I guess
clearly a rebuilding team.
I think it just depends on the team. Yeah, if it's rebuilding, let's have a look at the team first, and then we can kind of talk about it, because I think it really just depends on: are you a rebuild where like you're kind of like a 1 year out,
no,
or you're like
he's
3-4
real
years?
true full rebuild here.
If you're a real true full rebuild, then I would just keep those first and see what you can get. Because in reality, okay, so looking at your team, you have the 101 and that 104. So sure, you get Ashton Genty, you get a Travis Hunter or Travion Henderson, but you're still having those guys. I think maybe it's worth. Well, Travis Hunter is not going to be.
The thing is, at
fall
this
into
point,
the 104 with IDP though.
We have to recognize this is very clearly a full rebuild, and in that format, you don't really want to liquidate your assets earlier than you need to. And I say that because you want your team to be as bad as possible, right? And to do that, if you're playing any like max points for type of setting, or even if your playoffs are determined by record, you want the worst team you possibly can, because it's going to be the most effective rebuild in year 1, where your picks are going to be the most valuable they possibly can be, right? If you're already liquidating those future assets, then you're making your team next year better than maybe you want it to be. So that's my opinion on the matter. Maybe if your team was closer, we're like, hey, if you go get the 104, maybe we can turn this into a 1-year punt. But this team is so far off, it's not even close.
Yeah, it's so far off. That's kind of where I was getting to.
I'm going to lean towards a heavy no on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Go ahead.
But let's have a look at this team here. Currently ranked 8th out of 12. Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy in 1 quarterback league is all you need. At the running back position, no one to really speak of outside of Trey Benson, Jalen Wright here. So you definitely have some young guys you can hold to build with. At the wide receiver position, Ricky Pearsall, Mooney, Bateman. Really no one to speak of to build around instead of Ricky. And then Jonnu Smith, Michael Mayer. So another room that you don't really have anyone to speak of. And not to waste any time. So obviously you're a full rebuild. Untouchables. We're just gonna hold you 26 first and 27 first because obviously, like we said, you are in a deep rebuild here. So those guys are gonna be untouchables for you. Holds definitely the running backs and Trey Benson, Jalen Wright, and then adding Ricky Pearsall to that list as well. And I think those are the only 3 holds you can have on a team like this. And a bunch of drops, right? You can drop Frank Gore, Deuce Vaughn, Chris Rodriguez, Kenneth Gainwell, Johnny Wilson, Tim Patrick, David Moore, Ron. I mean, you could drop so many names on this team just to get some room here. Just looking at the waiver wire, if there's anyone, I guess you can pick up Kayshon Booty.
Keep in mind that the draft is about to happen, so he's gonna have to clear space for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players anyway.
Okay, so yeah, bunch of players you can drop there, and just waiting to see what happens there.
Overall team grade. I mean, honesty is important. This team is pretty stripped down. It's naked. And hopefully have a lot of 27 firsts because I only see 2 and 26. This could be a longer rebuild than you're anticipating. But, yeah, I would... look. This feels very much D minus.
Yeah, D minus, I would say. Obviously,
the only reason it's not an F is because of the draft capital.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got quarterbacks you don't have to worry about as well. So I would say D minus, and I would say draft capitals with a couple with
the 101s there, which is great. I would say more A flat for the draft capital. Again, the draft capital is really the reason that you have any hope in this team in the future. Obviously, we like names like Pearsall and everything, but yeah. Is that all admin?
That is all admin, yes.
Okay, so obviously if you stick at the 101, Ashton Genty is the pick. I would advocate that a team like yours is probably better off looking to trade back if you can and seeing what sort of offers might be available to you. This is 1 quarterback, so the 201 is a little less valuable than normal. Actually, I think in a 1 quarterback, the 201 is right outside that tier, isn't it? Because Dart isn't in that tier and Ward isn't in the tier before. Yeah, I think the 201 is right outside a tier that we really like.
Let me just have a look at it.
Just trying to pull that up. I imagine you're probably going to be choosing between a Burden, Higgins, Besh, and Harris. I don't think Igbuka, Harvey, Johnson, or either of the tight ends will be available, but those are great options as well.
And this is not a tight end premium, is it? No. So, yeah, so Luther, Higgins, Jack, Besh, Trey are going to be your guys there.
Yeah. And then beyond that, it's hard to say, but hypothetically, you could come away with like a Genty, a Burden, a Knoll, potentially, let's say Arroyo, maybe Tootin. You take out the 207 instead of the 212, actually, but that's not a bad outcome. I do think in an ideal world, the 101 is going to help us kind of spark this rebuild a little bit more, give it a little more juice. 3, 4, 5, 6 is the furthest we would go back. But you just want to treat your pick, the 101. Don't put a name to it so much like, I'm going to miss out on Ashton Genty. Think about how it can kind of help maximize the future upside of your team, what your future team can look like in this type of scenario. So we can look at teams that, we might be able to tear down with. I would argue that you can probably sell Mahomes. I don't think you're competing in 2 years from now. Darnell Mooney is another name that you could sell.
Yep, I agree.
Those are Jonnu Smith as well. I got to go check on my dog, but maybe you can find these guys who have these picks and formulate something. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Just add Patrick Mahomes, Darnell Mooney, Jonnu Smith are all guys that we're willing to sell in season at any point in time. Obviously, when it comes down to, and you probably can't see this, but I can see the team that has the 103 and the 105 here. Let me just pull up your thing here. You 103 and 105. So 103, 105 is in the same one here. So maybe the 101, 103, and the 105, I think that would be really good. Right? We can do something like that. I'm pretty sure you can see that. Yeah. So 101, 103, 105 is something that I would be okay with. Maybe you could potentially do something along the lines of like, can we do 103 in Roma Dunze? Maybe that'll be too much. So I'm also happy to do that for like, let me actually copy this. I can probably do that for the 105. I would actually be okay with either of those. Obviously, you would want to do the 103 over the 105, but I think it still falls within that same tier for us. I'll be okay with that team. What else? This team also has a 107, even though we did the 106. Yeah, that's a big dip there. He has Jalen Hurts, Trey McBride. I think that's probably my favorite. Either 103, 105. I think you could potentially, depending on how your league values this person, but can you do Rashee Rice in that full rebuild going in that certain way? And obviously when Zach comes back, maybe he'll give his full thoughts on that. Maybe if he's wanting to do something along those lines. I'm happy with either one of those if you could potentially do it. I doubt 103 in Rice is possible. So I see more of the 105 in Rice. Let's have a look at the 104. 102. I mean, the 102, you could probably just do 102 in the future first, which I doubt is going to be possible. No one wants to trade back and then give up their first, but I don't see anyone that you can get added on to this team.
All right, I'm here.
Yeah. So yeah, 102. It's probably just be 102 in the future first. But once again, that might be a bit too much there. I don't think you can do Garrett Wilson or Zay Flowers. Not somebody that we want to build around right now. So just to get you caught up here. So team 1, Mr. Me Seeks.
Mm-hmm.
He has the 103 and the 105. So I kind of consolidated that.
Yeah, I like all those ideas.
I said 103 and 105. 103 in Rome. 105 in Rome, I think that could be possible. And then 105 in Rice.
Even the 103, 105, and 112 or something works.
Yeah, that works as well. You can add that onto that.
And then you can send them like the 207 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are all great ideas.
He said was offered 104, 109, the 26 first for the 101. 104. That's actually not a terrible trade though. Who has the 104? Okay, so
That's
Christian
actually
Love.
A pretty good deal. I'm not gonna lie.
That is a pretty good deal. 104, 109, 26 first, and this guy is.
What's his team name?
Christian Love.
Right. So he would get Genty.
Yeah, he would get Genty.
Would he not be willing to give you the 104, 106?
Yeah. You could definitely counter 104, 106.
I would like to find a way to get that 106 because that gets you in the tier that we love. And then, you could send him back like the 210 or something.
Yeah.
I would much rather do that. I'd even go as high as like the 207.
Yeah, exactly. I would even be okay with the 207 and then like doing swapping. Well, actually, no, you can't swap. But anyways, I like that deal as well there, McNugget. So that's good. Do you know which first you're getting?
I would prefer
bad guys.
I would Fields. Let's see. No, not in a small league like this. I probably prefer his, or I prefer his 27 first, maybe. But it's not a bad offer.
No,
you go from Genty to, let's say, like T-Mac, Egbuka a first or something like that.
Yeah, still having capital, so that would give you what? Does that mean you have 3 first and 26?
The 109 is a little low in a one quarterback league, though. I do think you need to advocate for the 26 first. Even if it's something like, or for the 106, sorry. Even if it's something like, okay, well, I'm going to give you Darnell Mooney as well. Darnell Mooney, I'll add into this package, and I'll send you my 307 or something. Or even as high as like the 210. But it's not a bad offer, I'd say, at that 106 spot. if you
I
can
don't think
get
so
that
as well.
done. The guy who has a 102, I really didn't see anything personally.
No, I didn't see anything either. That's why I said maybe a future first, but I doubt you can get if you can get it done, sure.
Yeah.
But I doubt you can do anything with that
But
102.
that pretty much covers our basis. Let's see if we have any teams that are quarterback needy. Downers Grove Jesus Eyes. I don't know. That's supposed to be something funny. I'm not connecting with it, but you could try and send Mahomes here for like an Olave, right? Build around a Chris Olave and a one quarterback. That might work. I'm imagining he probably doesn't really need Mahomes with two quarterbacks there. The guy who has Love is probably fine. This is the problem with one quarterback leagues.
Quarterbacks, yeah.
Most people don't really have a need. Yeah.
I mean, you can just wait. You know, like if Caleb doesn't break out, Trevor Lawrence is not someone that's really for the White Lodge Giants, right? Like
maybe you can get a first in season or something.
You can get something if, and once again, Caleb doesn't break out. Trevor Lawrence is still just average. So there's definitely teams that you could potentially sneak in and send some of these guys to, but you just have to hope that those players fail as well.
If you want to send Mooney away, ideally, like the guy who has like the 203 would be awesome. He has a clear need at wide receiver. In fact, I'd probably be willing to send like Mooney and the 307 or maybe even higher than that to get in that tier. But I would say like 204 to 206 range is fine as well. Jonnu Smith, I would say maybe wait until in season, but any mid-second, I think we're fine to sell him off as a rebuild. But I just think moving off the 101 could really spark in this rebuild and kind of give you fire, fan the flame, if you will. But that's probably what I would do with the team, man.
Yeah, man, Nugget, please, you're here with us. Let us know if you have any last-minute questions here. We appreciate you and your support. You should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours in the Flock Fantasy message system, customized with everything that we drew up here for you today. But, hey, man, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. He says, then just focus wide receivers if trade down for the 101.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, you can target wide receivers if you do trade down from the 101.
T-Mac, Hunter, but look, if you get a Judkins or a Henderson, that's not a problem either.
And this is IDP, so some of those players might fall. I think that's one thing we didn't.
True.
We forgot, right? So like,
if you're telling me Judkins is actually available at the 109, then that trade becomes much more palpable. But also, I would say if he is really stuck on he only goes at the 109, then try and get that 27 first and most valuable one he has. Try and get into that 2027 class if you can. But yeah, appreciate you big time for showing some love to the stream. And please let us know if you have any questions. Bird Gang, we sent you a message, my friend. We need your sleeper ID. If you can please send us your sleeper ID through the message tab on your review on the Flock site, that would be much appreciated. McNugget says IDP probably won't make it till mid-second in this league. Appreciate it, guys. Love the channel. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for letting us review the squad. If you guys are out there and you are wanting your team playbook, customized game plan for your offseason, obviously we review your team, and then you get this beautiful game plan graphic. You can get that by using the promo code LAND, becoming an annual Mother Flocker member. You'll get a voucher that you can use through the Flock store. Just make sure you choose Zach and Badaki. And when you sign up, just make sure you move that slider up to live if you want it to show on the stream. You can get a team playbook if you're a member of a different promo code. It just the only thing is that there's no voucher, right? You're just paying pretty much a la carte. All right, Davo is next here.
Yeah. Dave, appreciate you, man. Let us know if you are here with us. Looking at it, it looks like it's a 2 quarterback, 12 team start 9, which is our classic meat and potatoes here, which I'll put in the chat for you guys. And let's have a look at this context here. He says, "What's up, guys? Thanks for your hard work in the offseason. Appreciate you." He says, "I made a couple moves and thought I'm not a contender. Yet I think I'm looking a little better. Whatever direction I should take and or feedback would be appreciated." Okay, we appreciate you. And before I even get to your team, I see somebody that is a clear standout in your league. I mean, 61,000 points here, and the next team has 28.
Yeah.
More than double.
Yeah. I think
This
we've
guy-
looked at this team before.
Have we?
I think so, because
This guy has-
I remember his name being Boner Pills. Or maybe we've looked at this league before.
Maybe we looked at the league
But-
before. I don't know. Maybe we have reviewed this team, but like
This
I mean,
team is insane. I think we came to the conclusion that anybody who's not drink all 88 is kind of just donating to the prize fund every year with a team like this in your league.
what's crazy is that guy has 4 first-round picks in 26 and 4 first-round picks in 27.
Yeah. He's got the best team by miles if he had no draft capital in the next 5 years, but somehow he has all of your first round picks in your league.
Okay.
So this is probably a home league and it's fun to be in, but everyone didn't know what they were doing outside of one person. He took advantage of the other people. We see it all the time. Can't blame him. But it just means that it's slightly pointless for everyone else. But of course, we're always going to try our best. It's just like, how do we build a squad to help you compete with this guy?
Yeah, well, let's have a look at your team.
We'll do our
here.
best.
Yeah, we will do our best. So you currently rank 6th out of 12. Joe Burrow, Michael Penix, Geno Smith. Good quarterback room. At the running back position, Bucky Irving, Tony Pollard, and Jaden Blue are your running back. So a little bit short at that RB2 position. You can start at the 4 wide receivers. You're starting 4, JSN, Addison, Golden, Ricky, with Cortland Sutton there. So some guys we like for sure with Brenton Strange.
That's
so interested
yeah.
why this wide receiver room is ranked 3rd.
Because everyone has a bad team outside of one player.
I'm just so
Literally.
confused.
No, for real. Look through it. Tell me who
Oh,
has a
gosh.
good wide receiver room. There's 2 guys who have a good wide receiver room. That's it. The wide receivers that are typically spread across 12 teams are spread across 2 in this league.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson, Nico, London, Rice, Rome. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Okay, well, let's talk about some admin stuff and then we can get to the chalkboard. Untouchables right now, from what I'm seeing, is Joe Burrow. It's probably the only untouchable. Holds, Ricky Pearsall. I would say Michael Penix, Matthew Golden. And I guess we can also put names like Jaden Blue just to wait and see what he is going to be doing there in that offense. Holds or drops. Don't see any drop. I guess what you can pick off the waiver wires. I think this is huge. Jalen Coker. I think it's
Shador
easy to
Sanders
pick
on
up.
the waiver wire.
And Shador Sanders. I mean, I know for a lot of people, Wanda Robinson's not exciting, but he was getting a lot of targets in the PPR league last year. Why not go pick him up if you potentially? Mike Gesicki is also there because you do need some tight ends. So I think since the waiver wire is pretty deep here, what I want to do is prioritize waiver wires on the graphic. So I'm going to put 2 holds for Ricky Pearsall and then Michael Penix. We're still going to hold Matthew Golden and Jaden Blue, but I think some of these guys that you could pick up could potentially make an impact on your team sooner rather than later. So Jalen Coker, we're going to put Shador Sanders on this team as well. And then let me just type in Shador Sanders. Shador Sanders. And then I think also Mike Gesicki is someone is worth picking up since you only have 1 tight end. And then I would also, once again, you don't have to, but I'll put Wanda Robinson on there or Jalen Tolbert, whichever one you would like to prioritize. You can even pick up Ben Sinnott as well.
Yeah.
Just to give you more depth on this team and give you a little bit more help. Kendre Miller is also available on the waiver wire. You know what? Let's put Kendre. So we'll have a position.
I have a big group.
We'll
Shador
put Kendre
Sanders
Miller.
would be number one for me. Then it would be a big tie, honestly, between like Coker, Allen, Kendre, and then I think Ertz is like an easy pickup. I don't think you really need to prioritize him at this point of the offseason because it doesn't feel like anyone really cares with how active your waiver wire is. That's a good thing for you. But I think Shador Sanders should be the priority pickup on your waiver wire, considering it's a super flex league.
Yeah, so there's definitely some players that can help you here. Look, when it comes down to pathways, I guess in a league like this, you are considered a contender.
Sure.
But it's not a real strong contender. Just based off the two teams, you're definitely going to make the playoffs, I think, based off of what I'm looking at for every other team out there. But
Maybe,
once you get to the playoffs,
you're going to be starting what?
Be...
Burrow, Bucky, Pollard, JSN, Addison, Strange, Sutton, Pearsall. That's 8. And then one of like Mooney, Golden. Yeah. I mean, your running back room is really shocking outside of Bucky. But I feel like the most rational and reasonable advice to give a team like this is to be honest and say, just be aware that you being in this league, most likely 95% chance you're going to be donating your buy-in until it ends. Yeah. The team at the top is probably the favorite for the next 7 years because he has the youngest team, the best team, and a whole bunch of draft capital. So nothing wrong with being in a league like that as long as you're just there to have fun with friends. But from a realism perspective and us trying to give you a competitive advantage, your league kind of threw any competitive advantage away when they gave a guy a team like this in all their first round picks. So
yeah, I agree.
Anyway,
we'll try and get you as competitive as possible to try to get you to compete. But like Zach said, just keep in mind that it's going to be a bit difficult when it does come down to a team like this or a league like this.
I'd probably give this like a C+, B-. That running back room is just really rough.
Yeah, and you have all your picks, so that's just a B flat there. And then I guess we can go to the chalkboard with any other things that we can potentially get on.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do at this point?
Look, my first instinct, my first thought was...
Do we send our first away and go all in and try and get a running back?
I mean, I don't know if I was saying my first. I would try and use my seconds.
Okay, yeah, sure. That's a good idea.
Like, can we get a lower tier running back? Can we get Alvin? Can we get the Joe Mixons of the world? I guess maybe not James Conner for a second, but you know, that list of names.
The difficult part is, and I'm not trying to be negative Nancy here, but the difficult part is that you might have to pay so much for these names because nobody has running backs because of the pure imbalance in the league. Like, I just want to actually look real quick. Like, who has James Conner, for example? So this is what I'm talking about. The guy who has James Conner, look at the depth chart here. Yeah, losing James Conner is going to kill this guy.
So you have to find somebody with depth then.
What about Mixon? Yeah, the Mixon Kamara one might be possible.
Okay, yeah, Alvin, Joe Mixon there for sure. I mean, you can even go and send a third for Pacheco and try and go that route as well.
Probably have to go like a third and... Well, what about like a Michael Pittman and Pacheco swap?
Yeah, we can do that. Or like Aaron Jones. We can go even deeper. That's what she said.
Yeah.
I mean, you can try your hand on Swift if you want to take that route as well.
Yeah.
Devontae Williams is also another name that I could throw out there. I know you were big obviously you just released that video, or did you release it on Tank yet? That's been out.
No, but I haven't released that yet on this channel. But yeah, I like Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the route that I would take instead of using my first.
Cheaper route, yeah.
Because I'm not wanting to use my first and then you send your first to one of these people that already sent their own first away.
Yeah. And look, let's say you land Kamara, for example. There is a reality out there where a starting lineup of Burrow, Bucky, Kamara, JSN, Addison, Strange, that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, you know, Mooney is the same as he was last year, and Sutton is great. Pearsall breaks out. Golden's, you know, great. Pollard's a great flex. There's a world where you're in the playoffs and anything can happen and you take down the top champ. Issue is if the top champ, I'm trying not to be disrespectful here, but if the top champ, if his best player at every position went down with an injury, he's probably still the favorite over most of the players in your league.
I mean,
so that's the difficulty.
Question. I feel like the only way this guy loses is if Daniels and Jackson goes down for the year. Even then, he still has a chance to beat you guys.
Yeah.
So, look, Dave, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support.
I hope this was helpful and not just it didn't feel like negativity on negativity.
I would say this, just to wrap it up, like, I think we kind of emphasized this a little bit. I wouldn't sell your first. Keep your first. And go the cheaper route after running back too, because I think everywhere else you're pretty good. There's high upside for all these players. Addison, Golden should be getting straight into work. Ricky Pearsall taking the next step. I really like Cortland Sutton as well this year. So don't necessarily think that you're out of it. They're just not high profile, top, upper echelon superstar players that you have on your team, unlike the best team in your league right now. But appreciate you. You should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours on the Flock Fantasy message system, customized to everything that we drew up here for you today. But appreciate you, man.
Yeah, and I honestly hope it was helpful, and I'm sorry if it wasn't. All right, last team for today, I think, is Pack It Up 12. Pack it up, 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 pack it up.
Pack It Up 12. Let us know if you're here. Pack It Up.
Unless anybody who has a last minute team to submit, but Pack It Up 12 should be here in the chat with us.
Yeah. So this is a 2 quarterback 12 team start 11. I'll put that in the chat. So this is going to be a rolling a deeper league. And let's have a read of this context here. He says, new startup this all season, tried a new strategy for me and didn't make any trades during the startup. What move should I make going into the year to make sure this team is in the best position to compete, if I should keep it that way?
I just want to say, I find it hilarious. And we know Pack It Up 12. He's been on the channel a lot. That's how you know you're a Dynasty degen. When you said, I tried a new strategy. What was it? I didn't make any trades. What was the new strategy you tried? I just kept all my picks. Like, oh, okay, that's how you know you're a degen, because typically you're moving all over the board and going crazy, and so that's just, I find that really funny. But you can see by the draft board, pretty even, coming straight off a startup draft.
Yeah, no doubt about it here.
Start 11 too, yeah, wow.
Yeah, start 11, 0.75 tight end premium here. So let's have a look at this team. Currently ranked second. Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson. I think it's a good quarterback room for now. It looks like you got these guys in the mid to later rounds, which is okay. Or early mid to late rounds, I guess you can say. Kyron Williams, Alvin Kamara, Brian Robinson, Javonte Williams. Decent running back room. It looks like you probably went the 1-2 punch here with Jamar Chase, got Amon-Ra at the turn. Maybe then you got Marvin Harrison. Then Golden, DJ Godwin with Jonnu Smith. So you probably took a chance on not taking a tight end early, which is totally fine here. Going straight to some admin here, untouchables, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown are going to be two guys that we want to be are going to be untouchables. holds for sure is going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. We're going to be holding him. I see also a name like Matthew Golden we could hold. And that's probably about it.
I was gonna say from the beginning, coming off a startup, I think your depth is actually pretty impressive for a start 11. Very rarely in a start 11 do you come off a startup and say, yeah, I can see you fielding a team. You know, we can come up with 11 names here. Kyler, Dak, Kyron, Kamara, Chase, Amon-Ra, start Jonnu. That's 7. And then Marvin makes 8. DJ makes 9. B-Rob makes 10. Godwin makes 11. Or Diggs, or Golden, or Javonte. So sure, they are all not like top names, but a lot of these veterans are still going to help you score some fantasy points. And I think overall you did a really good job.
I think so as
off
well.
a startup building a team. Now, I need some explanation as to why the hell Andy Dalton, Tyrod Taylor, Kenny Pickett are rostered. They do not need to be rostered.
No, they don't. And I'll put Will Shipley on that list as well. And those are going to be your drops, by the way. Okay.
I guess his waiver wire is naked. Maybe that's why. But you can move on from him if you want.
But, I mean, look, I think the startup is good. Like I kind of mentioned as I was looking at it, it looks like you got Jamar Chase, then Amon-Ra. I would imagine you then went Marvin, then probably double tapped or maybe got Kyler. I could see a world where you went Kyron and then Dak back in the, round 6, round 7-ish. Came back, got DJ Moore, Matthew Golden, and then it just went from there. So I think you did a pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, you probably let the board fall to you, which was good there.
To me, this is no question like a contender.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think you're in like a weird mix where you have youth and then you also have guys that, okay, you can move on from them in a year, right? Like you can still sell Kyrie Williams for a first round pick, most likely after this year if nothing serious happens. Same could be said with Kyler, Dak, if you really wanted to tear down and get younger. Packers says, I like rostering backup quarterbacks and avoiding a QB3 instead of rostering guys like Treylon Burks. That's in my eyes, right?
Yeah.
Titans are trash.
I mean, I guess I get that, but my only issue, and I understand where you're coming from, is see, like it would make sense if like this was like Will Howard and Quinn Ewers. But all these guys that I'm highlighting, even if these guys ever touch the field, no one's going to send you anything valuable for them. You know what I mean? No one's going to assume Andy Dalton or Tyrod or Rudolph or Pickett. None of these guys are going to start for a team, and then someone in your league's like, you know what? Actually, I will give you a pick for that play. Just no one cares. No one ever is going to believe those guys are starters. So, but, you know, whatever your strategy is fine. I think I'd rather roster like a Deontay Thornton. You know, I'd rather roster like a Wester, just someone who, yeah, probably has no chance to make an impact. What about A.J. Dillon? I mean, what happens if Saquon goes down with an injury? These are deep dives here. Like, I can recognize that, but I definitely... Jared Wiley, for sure, would be a stash for me over those names. But, so, obviously, it's a startup, so I can't really give you, like, a rookie draft grade, but I did a rookie haul grade. And the only reason I put D+ is just because simply, like, you didn't really draft any rookies. Like, Golden, sure, Kamenon guy, right? Which I like Kyle. But Matthew Golden is really the only young rookie that you drafted on this team, to be fair. And that doesn't mean that Golden is a D+ pick. I love that you got Matthew Golden, but just as an overall haul, you know, it's really just one player that's going to make an impact in Matthew Golden. And I think that's probably why you were able to build such a complete team with so much depth, is because you did focus on the veterans. And I like that direction that you took there. So don't take that grade the wrong way. I said Jared Wiley. Yeah, I think Jared Wiley I would prioritize over Wester. But yeah, this is definitely a contender.
Yeah,
I even don't mind sending our first round pick away on a team like this.
What would you prioritize?
I'd like to send our first and second for like a Justin Fields and a running back.
Okay.
Who has Justin Fields, I wonder? Okay, well, that's not going to work because they are so out of the range. Like, you can't get Fields and Achane, right?
No.
But let me just see if there's some wiggle room here. Like, Tua Monty is not enough, I don't think, but... Okay, like, a RJ Harvey... This would be perfect if this guy had, like, Geno Smith, you know? Okay, this guy's got Bryce Young and Breece Hall. I think there's a deal to be made there. R26 first, plus R26 second, plus something. That's just not enough, is it, to get to a Breece and a Bryce?
No, I mean,
no, I can recognize
Bryce is not amazing, but like I think he's still valued as a late first. I don't think you can get him for a
Okay,
second.
Tyler Shuck and Ken Walker. That seems perfect to me. If not Ken Walker, then Jonathan Taylor. Either way, I think you probably prefer Taylor, right? But
yeah, I prefer Taylor.
Either of those options, I'm saying, are actually kind of exactly what I'm going for there.
Hoping for. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's not really another quarterback 3. Like you could also go like Stafford Cook.
Okay.
But maybe if you did something like that, it would be Stafford Cook. And then maybe we ask for Tucker Kraft and we send Jonnu Smith away just to give, some slight upgrade with the youth in mind. Or if not, can you add a Pacheco for free or something?
Yeah.
And then send back instead of you'd send back like what, Ray Davis, maybe J.K. Dobbins off this hype.
Yeah.
But I think Darnold could work, but he only has Gibbs. Yeah, no. I was gonna say Darnold might work, but we could even package like Brian Robinson in this. But again, you're just so limited because of the way some of these teams are structured.
I do for this year at a minimum, plus the Marvin stack is nice.
I think he's talking to someone else.
Oh, is he? Okay, sorry.
That's okay. No, I think he's just talking to Mike in the chat, which is
Mike.
Awesome.
That's fair.
Yeah, tough to make the kind of move I want to make because one guy has 5 quarterbacks, but that's a strategy, and I think you could end up like Harvey Dart if you added Brian Robinson. Like, Dart wasn't a consensus first-round pick anyway this year. He fell to the second all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's possible, but might be asking a little much.
Yeah, I like Dart Harvey. You know me, I like Jackson Dart. I think he'll be hopefully our franchise.
The other thing that you could do here is find a way to upgrade somewhere. So we are going to get back Tua, and we're going to get back David Montgomery. But we're also going to try and grab Rashee Rice in this deal, and we'll send you back like Chris Godwin, for example. Do you know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
Or like you wouldn't really want to pay a first for any of like Tua or Monty, but when you justify the tier up, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it feels better.
I don't know. Maybe we're not paying enough there. Like maybe Godwin isn't going to be attractive. Maybe it has to be DJ Moore. But there's some wiggle room.
I like it. I think it's good.
Yeah.
He says Solomon if I can pull that tool off one. Yeah, I think
you could also go like
A-Rich,
Chuba, T-Mac, or Hunter in the same idea. or Hunter. And I feel like you would definitely have to offer DJ Moore in this type of deal instead of Godwin. But still, you have the depth to like tier up and justify it in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of where I would go Packet. But the problem is with the premium, you're gonna have to pay a premium. And Brenton Strange is not a terrible tight end to see what he can potentially do here.
Is there there's a tight end premium, yeah.
0.75. So like the premium is pretty, I would say significant. Like I just don't know if there's a tight end out there.
It's also like impossible to do this off a startup.
Yeah.
Well, this guy Junebug has gone all out on the tight ends, but he's probably going to be asking too much.
Yeah, it's a Tyler Shuck owner too.
Yeah. I probably would ride it out with what you have and pick up
think
Jared
so as well.
Wiley.
I would just ride that out as well. But please let us know if you have any last minute questions, man. I think that's probably it. See if we can get another running back or another wide receiver there. I like some of these later ones because you get a running back and a wide receiver, gives you that depth for a team like this.
Could also justify like sending that first away for any of, if you really want to upgrade like a Laporta in this format, a Loveland Warren, you know, because of the format, I think it makes a lot of sense. But anyway.
Yeah, but we appreciate you, man. Let us know if you have any last minute questions. Obviously, you know how it goes. You should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours in the Flock Fantasy message system, customized to everything that we drove here for you today. But huge love, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Appreciate you big time, my friend.
I think it's all good. All right.
That is probably it for today. Badaki will be live with you guys tomorrow. I am officially going on holiday, on vacation. So I'll see you guys soon.
Vacation.
Make sure you show Badaki some love. And yeah. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll do another Dynasty startup, and obviously any playbooks that are out there. Or maybe we can also watch the game and get a little mixy. I'm not going to show it, but I'll have it in the background. We could talk about it. But all love, man. All love.
All right, guys. Appreciate you all. I appreciate the safe travels and all of that. I'll be in Singapore, Matt, which will be fun. But enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Later, guys.
Love.